What's up, everybody? It's your girl BondyBlue, and I am back for another Now That We're Grown Lyrics Edition. Lyrics Edition. Hold up, let me do it again. Lyrics Edition. Okay. And we are going to be looking at the lyrics for one of the 90s biggest hip hop records and really one of the biggest rap records of all time, Bone Thugs and Harmony, The Crossroads. So you won't be lonely. So you won't be lonely. I'm going to miss everybody. I'm going to miss everybody. The reason why I wanted to cover this song, it is because it is one of my favorite songs, but I feel like I do not know any of the lyrics. I don't know whether it's a Black community people thing, girl. I'm not sure. But I feel like all of us love and know this record, but we do not know the lyrics. And so I am doing a public service to the Black community. Community, this is for you. Because I feel like we need to know what's being said here. So let's begin. Bone Thugs and Harmony, The Crossroads. First of all, song sad, video scary and depressing. However, very reflective of the time. The fact that we are no longer in a time where young people are being killed or just merely dying as much as they were during the time when this song came out in April of 1996. Okay. April of 1996. This comes out on the back of TLC's Waterfalls. Okay. Let me see what year that one came out. But it comes on the back of songs like that are really speaking about the times that we are living in. Yes, 1995. Okay. So the times we are living in are the times of a lot of gang violence, a lot of what we coined back then, which is really ridiculous now when you think about it, Black on Black crime. The reason why it is ridiculous is because every other ethnicity of people is more likely to kill their own people than every other ethnicity because they are closer in proximity to their own ethnicity. Let's not even impound that with the racial injustices that cause for people to be in situations where they are disenfranchised and in bad neighborhoods, and somebody all of a sudden dropped a duffel bag off of crack on the corner of somebody's neighborhood, and the story has never been the same. As a homage to the time, reverence for how in some ways we are not in that same dark place. We in a different dark place, girl. We in a different corner of the basement of hell. But we are not in that place where it seemed as if Generation X, right? Gen X, it seemed like Gen X lost at least half of their population, if not more, depending on where you live. I feel like my cousins and my sister, who are Gen X, grew up in the city of New Orleans, losing so many people, boyfriends, little friends, like everybody's, passing away. And then there was a lot of people passing away from HIV and AIDS in the 90s. Very prevalent. Hey, thank God for PrEP. Okay, because a lot of y'all don't remember what it was like when somebody was dying every damn week. A lot of y'all, you listen, shout out to Jennifer Lewis. She wrote it in her book about being in the entertainment industry, being in theater. You're around a lot of gay men, and they were dropping like flies in the 80s and the 90s. And it is really sad. And I knew women who caught it, from intravenous drug use, just so many things during that time that was sad. And the artists of that time, problematic or not, sought to work out what was happening in real life in their art, in their music. And I feel like that's the best type of art and music that one can create, is ones that are not just reflective of the inner world, but reflective and honest about the world around us. And I feel like Crossroads and Waterfalls and many other records during that time that spoke about real life, they don't know how much they're missed, because the language that started to happen in the early 2000s and on, until now, is metaphoric bragging. That's mostly what everybody's talking about. Metaphors and bragging. Drugs that we use, parties we have, women we fuck, and, all of the things. But we don't get a lot of songs reflective of the time, because it's almost as if as a community of people, as a, a country, we have decided to ignore the things that are actually happening because that's not profitable enough. It's better to be profitable. And I think this is really what was lost in the integrity of hip hop and in rap in general. This is what has been lost. This. So shout out to Bone Thugs and Harmony. Also because all of them are all still alive, and they didn't think they would be. And I believe back then a lot of people felt like they might have been calling death on themselves by even doing this music video and putting this song out the way they did. But shout out to the young artists out there that when they are true in their art and raw, they create something so beautiful and timeless. And I still love this song. I love Bone Thugs and Harmony. I listen to them weekly. So shout out to them. Let's get into the lyrics. Bone, 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 bone. Now tell me what you gonna do. Now tell me what, when it ain't nowhere to run. I gotta stop singing it. When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you. Now tell me what you're gonna do. Now tell me what, when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you, because it's gonna come for you. Dead souls, nigga, this for Wally. Easy, sees Uncle Charlie, Lil Boo, but God's got him. And I'm gonna miss everybody. I done rolled with blows like AIDS, looked at him while he laid and prayed, but destiny played too deep for me to say. Lil Lazy came to me, told me if he should decease, well then please bury me with my grand. And then when you can't come follow me. Let me stop right there for a second. The reason why we don't understand a lot of what they're saying is because of the harmony. They are layering their vocals on top of each other, and it creates this harmony in between one person's line and another person's line, and we can't really hear it, but we know the rhythm of it. We know the melody of the song, even if we don't really know the words. And that's why, because when one line is finishing, another line is starting right on top of it, and it creates a whole different sound. And I think this is what I would think of equivalent to what Brownstone did with the way they layered their vocals. Not in the same way, but in the same vein of we're layering vocals in a way that sounds different and authentic to us in a way that other people aren't doing. And this is our sound, right? Brownstone has a specific sound because of the way they layered their vocals. Same thing with Bone Thugs in harmony, right? So let's get back into the lyrics. God bless you working on a plan to heaven. Follow the Lord all 24/7 days. God is who we praise, even though the devil's all up in my face, but he keeping me safe and in my place. So there's a level of street nigga talk in this, right? It is very poetic, but they talking to you from their understanding of life at the time. And I believe there's so much religion wrapped in so much darkness when it comes to Bone Thugs and Harmony in the way they even talk about life and death in themselves. The way they talk about the devil's all up in my face. I feel like a lot of people, but specifically a lot of men, feel like they are always fighting with the devil within themselves, always trying to stay on task or on the road of what they know they should be doing versus what's tempting them. Say grace to the gates. We race without a chance to face the judge. Said, I guess my soul won't budge. Grudge because there's no mercy for thugs. And that's another thing. It's a feeling of running towards God, but being shunned by God. I think this record was a way to tell people, because at the time they were being very vocal about how rap was being perceived. Remember Thuggish Ruggish Bone starts off with the vocals of, I forgot who the man was, but I remember the press conference they held where they were having a conversation with rappers, political figures and conservative black folks having a conversation with rappers, and they're like, we're not against rap, we're not against rappers, but we are against those thugs. So there is a level of, we know who we are, but God love us too in this. There is a level of that, because I do believe the black people back then that were angry about the crime, that's why we had like all of those harsh rulings and all of that in the 90s, because there was a lot of crime going on. But it's all a reflection of what's happening in government, what's being taken away from people during the Reagan years, how people are now struggling in a way that they weren't at first. And so then you give them struggle, but you also give them freedom, and then in freedom in a way that they can do whatever they want to in their neighborhoods. The police aren't coming in that way, right? So the people that live in these neighborhoods that are not in gang life, the women, the children, the elderly people, whoever, these people are really upset about the image of a thug. Bone Thugs and Harmony, I believe, was meant to make us empathize and sympathize with the hearts of a thug and what it means to be one. And really what it is, even if you look at their faces, because they look so young on this cover, but I think it's a reflection of young people who really have no real guidance that they can relate to. But they accept the church because it's the only thing that makes them feel like there's something beyond this, and there has to be something beyond this. Ooh, what can I do? It's all about a family and how we roll. Can I get a witness? Let it unfold. We live in our lives to eternal our souls. And I had to go look that one up, because I didn't realize you can in eternal your soul, which is to live forever. But I did not know that word was used in such a manner. Very, very poetic. Okay. The boys are reading books, is what it's given. Okay. Somebody's grandmother, praying grandmother, made y'all read the Bible. Okay. So then we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray every day, every day, every day, every day. And we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray. Still we lacing. And what that's about for me, and I'm always trying to get people to peep this about religion, it's not that I feel like you should not have it, but if you have it, be practical, be realistic in it. There is a level of leaving things to God that I believe people should feel more responsible for their lives. It feels like it offers an external locus of control where you believe that everything is outside of yourself. And because you have no power, you're just going to rely on God to fix something without really putting in the proper work in order to fix it yourself. Like, you are the representation of God. God is speaking to you. If you feel like something needs to be fixed, you should be trying to fix it. You know what I mean? How else is God going to fix it if not through us? But people don't really think like that. I feel like a lot of the times, through everything that Black people went through, there is a level of throwing your hands up when you decide that you're just going to pray about something, meaning that there's no work I can do. I'm going to just pray about it. I'm going to hope for the best. And I think on some level, the inactivity that comes from that is problematic. And on some level, why, in fact, the community is not okay. Now follow me, roll, stroll. Whether it's hell or it's heaven, come let's go take a visit to the people that's long gone they rest. Wally, Easy, Terry, Boo, and still keeping up with the family. Exactly how many days we got lasting. While you laughing, we're passing away. And the recognition of the fact that the duality of life is that in every moment, while we are somewhere happy, somebody somewhere else is dying. And what that means for real. Is that inactivity, or is that just God's will? On some level, we all gonna die, right? But on another level, it feels like deaths are senseless. a lot of senseless death. And I think that's what was happening at the time. God rest our souls, because I know I might meet you up at the crossroads. You know, y'all forever got love from them bone thugs, baby. Lil Easy's long gone. Really wish he could come home, but when it's time to die, gotta go. Bye-bye. All a Lil Thug could do was cry, cry. Why they kill my dog? Damn, man, I miss my Uncle Charles, y'all. And he shouldn't be gone in front of his home. What they did to Boo was wrong. Oh, so wrong. Was so wrong. Gotta hold on, gotta stay strong. When the day comes, better believe Bone got a shoulder you can lean on, lean on. And this, I feel like, was reverence and love for the people that they lost, which they mentioned several times. Okay. That's Wally, Lil Boo, Easy E, and C's Uncle Charlie. Wishbone is C. So Wishbone's Uncle Charlie, and that makes sense because that's who, was sitting across from him on the video. So his uncle was the one that really encouraged them and would listen to their tapes and stuff like that. And he passed away too. And they were sad because he wasn't there to see their success. See you at the crossroads, crossroads, crossroads. So you won't be lonely. See, you won't be lonely. See you at the crossroads, crossroads, crossroads. See you at the crossroads, crossroads, crossroads. So you won't be lonely. So you won't be lonely. Okay. And repeat that. And I'm going to miss everybody. And I'm going to miss everybody long gone, long. And I'm going to miss everybody. And I'm going to miss everybody long gone. Okay. Repeat that. Living in a hateful world, sending me straight to heaven. That's how we roll. Now, back in the day, I used to think they were saying hell. I didn't think they were saying heaven. I'm just going to be real. Living in a hateful world, sending me straight to heaven. That's how we roll. Living in a hateful world, sending me straight to heaven. That's how we roll. It was something about saying things 3 times for them. And I'm asking the good Lord, why? He sighed. He told me we live to die. What's up with that murder, y'all? See, my little cousin was hung. Somebody really wrong. Anybody want to test us, dog? And Miss Sleazy set up easy to fall. You know, while we sinning and cussing, he intended on ending it when it ends. When it come again and again. Now tell me what you're going to do. Can anybody tell me why? Hey, can anybody tell me why we die? We die. Oh, so wrong. I don't want to die. Oh, so wrong. Oh, so wrong. And then see you at the crossroads. See you at the crossroads so we won't be lonely. And they repeat that. And that one line is why. The misogyny is always there in rap no matter what. The line in Miss Sleazy set up easy to fall. That line is obviously about blaming some woman for Eazy-E catching AIDS or HIV. Y'all know he eventually died from HIV and AIDS complications. And it's like they wanted somebody to blame. I think in general, the attitude amongst a lot of them is that it was a setup. Like he didn't, somebody stuck him with a syringe or sent a girl to have sex with him that had it. Whatever it was, they was acting like, Suge might have set the situation up. That's one of the thoughts that people was putting out there. And then another thing is people thinking that it didn't happen. Whatever it is, they really have a hard time with the fact that Eazy-E died of HIV and AIDS. And the reason why I say that is because when the reality show, Lazy was on a reality show, Growing Up Hip Hop LA, I believe Eazy-E's son was on that show. And he was trying to do a documentary in order to talk about how it was all a lie, that his dad didn't have HIV or AIDS. And I just kind of feel like, listen, it could possibly be true that it was all a lie, but that doesn't make sense to me. I think a lot of people had it back then. And I think that somebody like Eazy might have been a rapper who was having a lot of sex with a lot of different women. Just like, for instance, who else caught it at that time? Magic Johnson. Like there were a lot of people that caught it because they were just having a lot of sex. But because it was automatically tied to having gay sex, because that's what, everybody was saying, oh, this came from men having sex with men, from somebody maybe fucking a monkey or some shit. Like people was coming up with all kind of, conspiracy theories around how AIDS came about. But either way, they did not want to believe that Eazy-E had AIDS, even though Eazy-E was probably out here having unprotected sex with a lot of different people, with a lot of different women, being Eazy-E. From what I understand, his wife, baby mama at the time, she did not have it, but they also looked at her sideways too because of her business practices. So there's a level of looking for somebody to blame for Eazy's death. And I just kind of feel like, wouldn't it be better if y'all realized that it's a casualty of the time and that people needed to wear condoms and be more safe with their bodies instead of recklessly having sex with everybody just because you can and it's fun? Because that's what a lot of people are still doing to this day, but especially was doing in the 90s. You in rap and you big and all of that, and you in LA, women around you, women want you, y'all niggas is in movies and all kind of stuff. Like people is popping at a time where Black people haven't been popping like this before. You know what I'm saying? So I imagine niggas is beating coochie off, with a bat, like, bitch, get off me, get off me, get off me. You know what I'm saying? Not really, proverbially. They always gon', hey, if a girl is offering coochie, most of these niggas is gonna say yeah to almost everyone. Right? And y'all don't check y'all back, especially back then. You look at somebody and feel like you look clean, ignorant ass shit. Like you have a look to you. Okay, everybody doesn't have a look to them because everybody isn't sick just because they've, contracted a autoimmune deficiency disease, whatever they called it, because it fucks with your immune system more than anything. But either way, it was an indictment on a lot of people. It was an indictment on gay people, and it was an indictment on anybody else in the 90s that got it. To me, it seemed like we all understood what happened. And then in recent times, not everybody wants to be confused about it. But this line, shows us that everybody thought it was some type of setup instead of thinking that this is just another rapper that doesn't know how to control his dick like the rest of y'all. But I guess they felt like because they didn't catch it, then it had to be a setup for him to catch it because none of us caught it. Either way, if all fails, blame the woman or Suge Knight. But essentially, this song hit worldwide, reached the top of the US Billboard 100 and the New Zealand singles chart. It was the highest debuting rap single ever when it entered the national singles chart at number 2. And a week later became number 1, making it the fastest single to rise to the top position on the charts since the Beatles' Can't Buy Me Love in 1964. The song earned them a Grammy Award in 1997, Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group. Yeah, one of the best songs, 100 best hip hop songs ever, for sure. When I tried to do this yesterday, I played the music because I was trying to catch the rhythm, but this time I was able to do it better. So I think I'm gonna start doing these as pre-recorded videos for y'all, and I hope y'all enjoy it. But yeah, this is still one of my favorite songs. I think that it was a beautiful letter to the homeboys that passed away, whether it was from a drive-by, because one of the dudes, I think either it was Wally or Lil Boo that got killed in a drive-by, and he was trying to protect his little nephew from getting shot, which reminded us of Menace to Society. I think it's funny how people assume a lot of the things we saw growing up are fake as if they aren't based in something real. Because when we try to talk about how these things have affected us, everybody's like, oh, it's just this. It's just a movie. It's just a TV show. It's just a song. And it's like, what do you mean it's just? There's no such thing as it's just. There's no such thing. Everything has its effects. And the shit in the 90s had a huge effect on my generation as millennials and everybody after, even if you don't know. All right. And this was definitely one of those things that I feel like influenced the time and influenced us moving forward because, like, who's better than Bone Thugs and Harmony? Nobody. I mean, after them, like besides like Outkast, and that's the same time. But I'm talking about like Migos, like no, nobody, nobody rapping harder since Ice-T, nigga. Okay, listen, my faves, I love them. Constantly being played around my household. Shout out to Bone Thugs and Harmony. And that will conclude this edition of Now That We're Grown, the lyrics edition. All right, so y'all, go out there and do what Bone Thugs do, girl. Go garden. Don't if you're not into it. I'm not trying to peer pressure anybody. Get out of here.